Hello, this is Larry Burden, Leadership Liaison for the International Fellowship of Chaplains, coming to you today just to share a short story with you that I read recently. There was a family who lived in the northern part of the United States that each month they would come together as a family. They would get on the local train in their town, and they would take a short ride, not too far from outside the city, to where the mother of the wife lived. And she and her husband and children would always go once a month, and they would spend a weekend with this grandmother, with this mother, and enjoy a visit, enjoy time together, share meals. And it was just a time of family fellowship, and became a ritual really for this family. Each month, once a month on a weekend, they would do this. Well, as the children grew older, the older child in the family decided one day that he was old enough to take that train ride to Grandma's himself, all by himself. And so he asked Mom and Dad if he could just take his suitcase and get on the train by himself and travel from their home to Grandma's home on his own. He knew the way. He'd been there many times. He'd made that trip so many times, and he felt like he was old enough that he could do this by himself. And so Mom and Dad talked it over, and they said, we believe you're old enough to do this. And so they said yes. They took the little boy to the train station on this Saturday morning of the weekend that he was to go to Grandma's. And as they were getting him ready to get onto the train, and Mom and Dad were hugging him goodbye and telling him to be safe, Mom had a little folded note in her hand, a little folded piece of paper, and she stuck it in his pocket, and pocket of his jacket, and she said, if you get scared or if you get worried, just read this note. And so the little boy said, okay, got on the train, and off he went. Off he went to Grandma's house. And everything was going really good. He was just enjoying the train ride. He was so proud of himself that he was old enough to get on the train all by himself and make this trip he'd made many times before with his family, and now he's doing it on his own. And he was really feeling like he was growing up and really doing something important for himself in life. And the train made several stops along the way to the town where Grandma lived, and each time the train stopped, more people would get on, and more activity would take place in the train car where he was. And they began to crowd into where he was sitting, and so he was being scrunched over, and it wasn't very long before he was feeling very uncomfortable and almost getting a little bit anxious because so many strange people now were crowding into his space. And he was beginning to think, I wish I were home. I wish Mom and Dad were here. And he really began to get a little upset inside, and he remembered that his mother said, if you get scared or worried or concerned, read the note in your pocket. And so he reached into his pocket and he pulled out the piece of paper that his mother had stuck inside the pocket. He opened it up, and when he looked at the note, it said this. He said, just so you know, your father's in the back car. And I love this because here's the mom and dad that they release their child to go off on his own, even when they know maybe he's a little bit too young for this, but it's so important to him that we want to give him that opportunity. And knowing the possibilities of things that might go wrong or could cause him anxiety, anxiousness, or cause him to become afraid. Mom wanted him to know that he was really not alone on that train car, that his father was in the back car. The message of that is that, hey, I want you to know Dad's on the car with you. Dad's got your back. And I think that's so important for us because, there are times when we are engaging in life, we're engaging in our chaplain ministry, or we're just engaging in day-to-day life, and we feel like oftentimes that we're out there all by ourselves, that we're all alone, and we sometimes get uncomfortable because we wish there was someone with us. We wish there was someone who could help us carry what we're carrying right now. We get a little bit frightened even, and we need to know that, gosh, I wish someone was here with me to help me carry this burden. The Bible says two are better than one. And I think it's interesting and important that we know that just like that little boy, we are really never, ever alone. That our Father is with us no matter where we are, no matter what we're doing, and no matter what we're engaged in, He is right there with us. And if you will, He's got our back. Can I tell you, there are multiple times in life when you and I have engaged in situations, encounters, difficult people, challenging situations of dealing with people in crisis and trauma, dealing with family, dealing with loved ones, dealing with crisis, death, all different kinds of things. And oftentimes, don't we too feel like we're all by ourselves? We're all alone. And gosh, I wish somebody was here with me to help me. Yet to realize inside there is someone who is with us, who is always with us, who will never leave us, who will never forsake us, who will never abandon us, and is always there to help us to not just get through, but to walk through these seasons of time and seasons of situations that are so very challenging and so very draining oftentimes of our emotional and spiritual resources, that our Father is there and He has our back. You know, Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean unto your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your pathway straight." That little boy's father was on the train with him. He was a couple of cars back in the back car, and his mother wanted him to know that if you get in trouble, if you get frightened, if you get uncomfortable, if you begin to get worried, just read the note. And when you read the note, you'll find out you're not alone. Dad's on the train. Dad's got your back. Can I tell you, and no matter where you are and what you're doing, you are not alone. Dad's on the train with you. Dad's got your back. Never doubt how much He loves you. Never doubt that He is in you. Never doubt that He is with you. And never doubt in any and all situations, the Father has got your back. He loves you with eternal love, and He's with you in every arena and season and time of your life. So bless you today. Hope that encourages you.